Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my humble home, my hacienda, my casa here in Livingston, Montana. My name is Jim. Okay, what I'm up to today is I'm going to tell you folks a true hunting story. Now, this actually happened to me back in the year of 2007, so stick around because I think I've told this story before on my channel, and the reason why you need to stick around is to find out what kind of a liar I am. My little joke there. You know, I'm getting to the point more where I'm running out of content so bad at my channel, and I'm having to do things twice. You know, do content over twice, you know what I mean? Okay, enough of that jocularity there. Like I say, this was the year of 2007, and this happened, I would say, right about the first part of the general rifle season, if I remember correctly. I know there wasn't any snow on the ground yet or whatnot have you, but I'm hunting this area south and east of Livingston, Montana here, this USFS land that's about 2 miles square, I guess you'd say, before it ran into private property. You have to be kind of careful up in this particular area that I'm not exactly naming off, because you didn't want to, well, like I say, be hunting on private property. That's a big no-no up here in Montana. You just don't want to do that. So anyway, I go charging up to my hunting grounds real early in the morning. I like to get up there at first light, you know, light when it's legal enough to hunt, but yet early enough to, you know, to kind of fool the little critters if you can, you know, maybe jump them out of bed or whatever have you. But no, it's always your early bird gets the worm sometimes when it comes to this hunting around here, because these big game animals, usually by 9, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, you know, mid-morning and everything, you're starting to bed back down again. Some of you might want to pay attention to what I just said there. Well, anyway, I worked myself into this country, you know, get up there real early, work myself in there, and I spotted me a real nice buck, a 3x3. I mean, but one of them guys that's real big body, you know, real nice set of racks. And chances are the year before he was probably came in as a 4x4. You know, I never, over my 50 years of hunting, I never got too excited about that whole rack thing, how big the horns were, because I had an old timer tell me years ago, you can't eat the horns. You can't eat horns and you can't eat tracks. It's a true story, you know. So anyway, this buck, he was bedded down right at the base of a lone pine tree. No, a juniper tree, excuse me. A juniper tree. I know, I looked that tree up and down and every which way but sideways. And when I first spotted him, I didn't exactly spot him. I spotted a bunch of does. You know, it was like 4 or 5 headed does, something like that, maybe half a dozen of them. And they were trickling along. They were cutting up along a side hill. They were actually kind of coming towards me and up above me like that, you know, because the wind, I made doggone sure that where I was hunting, where I was facing, where I was scoping out, that the wind was in my favor. The wind was blowing this way and not this way, not down to where that buck was at. I made sure of that. You know, you just got to do that, because if you don't, if you're on the wrong side of the wind, you might as well just have gotten up on the wrong side of the bed, so to speak, you know. It just doesn't work with hunting, you know. But anyway, this buck, he's laying there, and I take my pack off, and I put my pack out in front of me, and I'm laying down prone with me and my 270 Winchester. That's the name of the cartridge. It's a Browning A-bolt rifle that I own. But anyway, I took my Browning A-bolt, which is chambered in 270 Winchester, and I lay it on top of my pack because I'm wanting to get a good shot at this guy. He's 250 yards out, almost 300 yards out. And did I range find him? No, I've never used a range finder in my life. Just this cranium right here is the only thing I've had for judging distance. But anyway, this buck, he's laying down there. He kind of moves around a little bit and moves his head a little bit and whatnot have you. But I'm keeping my eye on those does because they're awful nervous. I know that them does to this day knew that there was something haywire, you know. But anyway, I know a good 10, 15 minutes went by, and I'm right across that pack like that with my 270 bearing down on him, but I didn't squeeze a round off simply because there was grasses in my way. Those little miserable Montana grasses that grow up, you know, not weeds, but like that, but wild rye and all that kind of stuff like that. Bunch grass is what I wanted to say. And I didn't, 270, my 270, I've always shot 130 grain bullets. And I didn't want a chance for one of them pieces of grass to deflect my bullet, because I was going to reach out there and kiss me some meat. Well, that was all there was to it. So anyway, to make a long story short, pretty soon this buck, he decides to get up, and he's stretching like they do, and kind of looking around. This buck is being very dumb, because I know that those does sent enough signal to him to warn him that there's something wasn't right in the valley there. That something not right was me, the 270 trained on him, So anyway, the buck, he didn't do what I wanted to do. He just stood just like I'm facing this camera right here, right now, just looking dead on at me. And I thought, man, that ain't the shot I want. I waited all that time for him to stand up and everything. A good 10, 15 minutes, but my patience was getting thin. You always want to have a lot of patience to be a good hunter. So anyway, I laid them crosshairs right on his forehead and squoze one off. Squozed a round off, shot around, missed him. Plain and simple. I know I missed him. Probably shot over him just a little bit. Anyway, that buck turned sideways to me and came kind of running towards me, but uphill. I know doggone well that buck didn't know where I was at. He was down there on a juniper tree, and I was behind a juniper tree. We were both using juniper for cover. But anyway, on the second round, there he is, kind of in a slow trot. I took that old 270 of mine, and by the time I squozed off that second round, he was out there about 250 yards or so. I clipped him right across the top of the spine, put him right down. Put him down. Well, the problem of it is he was on a very steep side hill, wouldn't you know, and this doggone buck started to roll. And I mean, he went ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. And I'm just laying there or kind of half sitting up watching this going, how far is this doggone thing going to... He was like a bowling ball that was out of control or something, ba-boom, 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 like that. And so I knew doggone well I got him, that kind of deal. So I got my pack on and got my orange vest on and all that kind of stuff and headed down in the ravine to find this doggone thing. And man, this buck went down there way farther than I wanted to. I mean, by the time I harvested him at 9 o'clock in the morning. 9 o'clock in the morning, and it was at 9 that night when this drag was all over with. 9 in the morning I put him down. It was 9 at night when I pulled into my driveway here with that buck loaded in the back of the pickup. 12 hours on that drag to get him home. But anyway, I get down to where he's at, and I field dressed him and hooked a jerk rope up, and I thought, boy, I'm going to have fun. Because I estimated I was exactly 1 mile away from my pickup. 1 mile. Okay, I'm getting to the end of the story, so don't get bored and don't run off. And by the way, I'm not going to finish the story until you sign up for my channel and, give me the finger, up, down, sideways, love me, hate me. I'm just kidding. You're going to do what you want to do. That's what you're going to do. But anyway, I started working, and I started huffing, and I started puffing. I had me a big, nice piece of, not manila rope, but this real nice 3/4 inch nylon rope. And maybe it was about even an inch in diameter. It was drag rope. Something I braided up special for putting around animals and dragging them. Anyway, I put this drag rope around my middle and hooked it onto that deer, and up the mountain we went. And when I say up, that's exactly what I meant, is up. I mean, I huffed, and it got so bad, ladies and gentlemen, I started counting a cadence. I'd go 1001, 1002, and these were the steps I was taking. 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006, like that, and then I'd stop at 10, because that's all the energy I had. 1001, 1002, with me dragging this buck. Finally, I get up to the biggest part of my drag was over with, because most of it was going to be downhill to where I had to get to my pickup and like that. Okay. Anyway, I get up there and I have to take me a break. I mean, I ate a sandwich or dumping. I'm sitting there with my old buck piled up there and all that kind of stuff. And, I'm getting pretty winded, but I'm still feeling pretty good about it all and everything, because It was midday. I got him up over the roughest part of the drag, which was going uphill, and the rest of it was going downhill. I just got done saying that, excuse me. But anyway, I had to take a break. I concluded my break, gathered up my stuff, gathered up my 270, gathered up my deer, and down the hill I went. And I side-hilled the best I could all the way down, because I was headed for this group of trees. I knew that once I got to this group of trees, all I had to do was go through that group of trees over to where this creek was. I had to cross the creek, and there was the parking lot to where my pickup was. Like I say, this entire drag was a mile. And I don't have to lie. I don't have to brag. It's the truth. It's what happened. Anyway, I get all the way right down to where them woods are that I started to tell you. It was pretty open country up until I got down to the woods down there, and I'm on a little trail. I'm pulling my little buck along, and all of a sudden I seen black and white coming up the trail. Are you hearing me? Black and white. And I'm going, and I just stopped, and I just looked, and I go, oh no, just like that. Oh no, it's a skunk, and it was a skunk. And I'm going, man, I tell you what, I thought right away, all kinds of fear came into me, all kinds of disappointment and stuff, because I knew, fear flooded my body. I knew that once that skunk got anywhere near that buck of mine, he was going to contaminate the whole thing with his scent, with his musk, that skunky smell I got. And I did everything. I threw rocks. I jumped up and down. This skunk was about 30 yards away, and he had its head down like this, and with that weasel action that they got into. It wasn't even paying any attention to me. And I'm up the hill ways from him having a crap bet, Well, you know what I mean, kind of changing colors in my shorts there, So there was nothing I could do, ladies and gentlemen. I took my 270 off. I got tired of this nightmare going on in my head that this buck was gonna, oh no, the skunk is gonna eat my deer, that kind of thing. And so I just pulled the trigger, and I jacked another round in there, and I looked, and there was more skunks. There was 4 more skunks. And so I'm just sitting there. Every time I settled my scope in and seen black and white hair, I pulled the trigger. You know what I mean? Blam, 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 blam. I made the bit. I had skunk stew strung all over that hillside, but there was nothing I could do, because the very trail that I was on with my buck, if those skunks would have came up and they would have started climbing all over my deer, my buck would have been ruined. I knew that for a fact, so I laid them all out. Am I proud of that? No. But if they would have just, I did everything. I clapped my hands. I jumped up and down. I did everything to get them to get gone. But, that thought kept running through my head. Oh no, they're going to eat my buck. That's a little voice I've developed. I think it's kind of funny myself. But anyway, that's my story, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, I killed them all. And yes, I was able to drag the buck up and around like if I needed any more exercise, and down through the bushes and across. I had to go across a creek, mind you. And boy, by the time I got there, I just sat there. I'm dead. I'm halfway dead. But I finally get loaded up, and I came home in my driveway here at 9 o'clock at night. That harvest was 12 hours to get that piece of meat off the mountain and away from them skunks. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think I told the story about as good as I could. Take care of yourselves. Sign up for my channel if you want. If you don't, I don't care. I get tired of saying the same stuff because nobody ever does, and take care of yourselves, and we shall see you on down the trail, and adios, my friends. Boop.